Z, on today's show, we are breaking down Tilman Fertitta's 95-5 rule. Now, before we get into the 95-5 rule, I want to point out there are many names, there's many ways you could mispronounce Tilman Fertitta's name.
Well, there's several.
You could say Fertitta.
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 Fertitta. But that wouldn't be his name.
Well, you're correct.
But Tilman Fertitta, Tilman Fertitta, he is the owner of the Houston Rockets, and he has a net worth of $4.4 billion. And his new book is called Shut Up and Listen. And I'm just telling you, this 95-5 rule is hot.
Hot. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shut up and listen.
Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
Bombs away.
Yes, and yes, Thrive Nation. It is a special occasion because Dr. Zellner is back in our location.
Woo! Yes, it feels so good to be back home.
Sir,
Nice.
welcome back. Would you consider what you went on here was a vacation? Was it a business trip? How would you describe the nature of the trip that you were on?
Vacation seems to be business anymore, right?
Oh, yeah.
You really just go and just check out and just lounge. I mean, it seems like it's always some kind of business. You got to take care of business.
So let me ask. I want you guys to compare. Where did you just get back from?
Turks and Caicos.
What?
Turks and Caicos. It's a thing.
You know what? How do you spell that? Do you know?
THAT.
Okay.
That's that. You asked me how to spell that.
No.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
TURKS and then Caicos is CAICOS.
Now, real quick.
It's a Caribbean island.
Okay, Matt, you just got back from the Bahamas, right?
Yep, Exuma, not too far.
Yeah.
I was just a little bit south of me.
Now,
Yes, I was.
Now, how do you spell that?
Yeah. EXUMA. Believe me, I was all over my stuff.
No, real quick. I got some new sound effects here, Matt, and I want you. This is an ophthalmologist.
I can hear that.
From Alabama. He's from Alabama, and he has this incredible laugh. His name's Timothy Johnson. Z, you're gonna love this guy.
Yeah.
And so I had him on a show, and on the show, I queued up the audio clip from Naked Gun, where Leslie Nielsen's character goes into the bathroom after doing a public speaking event. And he forgets that his mic's on, his lavalier mic.
Oh, yeah.
So he's in there letting her rip, and the mic's on.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, I played that sound clip on the show, and Timothy Johnson can't stop laughing. But just listen. I'll try not to laugh. Listen to the pure joy this man is having, this ophthalmologist. Listen to this. Isn't that great? Isn't that great, man?
He's really getting after it.
I mean, listen.
It's so good.
Oh, okay. Well, on today's show, we're talking about Shut Up and Listen, hard business truths that will help you succeed from Tilman Fertitta, the billionaire owner of the Rockets, who is going to be on the show. I believe, Z, I'm checking the calendar. Let me look here real quick here. Again, I know this show gets released differently from when our listeners are going to hear it from time to time. But let me look here. This would be, I think, Z, it's the 7th. Yeah, it's the 7th. So, Matt, put that on your calendar. That's Wednesday the 7th. We're interviewing Tilman Fertitta right here on the Thrive Time show, a billionaire worth $4.4 billion. The guy behind the Rainforest Cafe, Bubba Gump Shrimp, the Houston Rockets, obviously Landry's, Saltgrass, just incredible business person. And he has this thing called the 95-5 ratio.
Ooh, let's hear about this.
So the 95-5 ratio, he says, and I'm going to read reading the excerpt from the new book again called Shut Up and Listen by Tilman Fertitta. He writes, being in business can involve all sorts of formulas. But when it comes to what can make your business either a success or an ongoing struggle, I always use a simple ratio to make sure I'm paying attention to what really matters. I call this the 95-5 rule. On the surface, the 95-5 rule may seem completely out of balance. I've heard it from all sorts of entrepreneurs. How can a measure of 5% really help or hurt my business so much? How can such a small part matter, especially when everything else is working so well? Believe me, it can. So I want to tee up one example, and then Z, you can one-up me, and then Matt can one-up all of us.
Okay, perfect.
The phones at OXI Fresh. When the phone rings at OXI Fresh, if you buy an OXI Fresh franchise, and I'm a consumer, and I type in, let's say, Jefferson City carpet cleaning quotes. So I type in Jefferson City carpet cleaning, or maybe I just live in Jefferson City, Missouri, and I just search for carpet cleaning quotes. Either way, I find OXI Fresh with 164,000 Google reviews ranked top in Google. And I say to myself, I'm gonna call that business. So I read those reviews and I call. That's where most businesses get it wrong. When my wife and I had a flood in our house with the great flood we had there at the man cave, there's these companies that are called 24/7 disaster companies. It's a
disaster.
24/7. You call them, Matt. 24/7. They're supposed to be available to come out there, Z, and to fix whatever's going on.
That would be implied by the name. I mean, I'm thinking.
I called the 24/7, and I'm not making up a number. I can say that I called more than 2, I called more than 4, and I called more than 7. Maybe that's what that means.
Maybe.
But I called all of the people in Google, and I had 2 people that answered the phone, and one was like, "Hello, yeah, oh yeah, I'll be there right away," and just like went back to bed.
Yeah.
The other guy was like, "Thank you for calling, yada yada. How can I help you?" He's on it.
Oh yeah.
This guy's like sipping Red Bull all night. He's on guard duty. He's ready to go. That dude showed up, and guess who I gave the business to? That guy. That's just 5% of the business, though, is answering the phone. Now, OXI Fresh, if you call an OXI Fresh franchisee, you know what you're going to do? You're not going to get a voicemail where you reach a voicemail because the carpet cleaner is cleaning carpets. No. Simultaneously, while the franchisee is cleaning carpet locally, the call center nationally answers the phone.
Tricky.
That's the 5%. Matt, that's a big thing, though, right? Is that not a big thing, a big benefit for franchisees is that somebody answers the phone for someone's answering the phone on behalf of the franchisee? I mean, isn't that a huge benefit?
Yes. I mean, I can tell you firsthand as someone that does this. I mean, I'm on this podcast right now. I have complete, what am I trying to say here? Confidence that no matter how long this conversation goes, no matter how long we're on the podcast, it doesn't matter how many people call me at that time. Like I can have 5 people call me. I can have 10 people call me. I have 20 people call me in an hour span. I can be doing multiple things. I don't have to be the person that's really trying to focus on answering that business. Right, I can basically do the things that are necessary for my business and know that when the phones are ringing, someone's answering them that is trained on the language of carpet cleaning, that is trained on the technology platform, that can read my schedule, my specific price structure, and put the jobs where they should be in my schedule so that I can go complete them.
Z, that's a huge thing.
It's extremely important.
Big.
Now let's talk about optometry. You're the first guy to show up with the 7-day schedule, right? I mean, that
was a move.
Every other optometrist was open, 4 days? I mean, a lot of doctors are closed on Fridays.
Well, maybe a half day. Come on. I mean, you know.
I'm being serious, though. It seems like whenever my kids get sick,
a lot of professionals, dentists, chiropractors. I mean, there's a lot of professionals that, choose to, they want for everybody to come into their schedule instead of saying, hey, we're going to be available for your schedule.
And I've told a lot of my kids, I have 5 kids, I've told, I think 4 of them, I'm like, hey, listen, if you guys get sick, freaking get sick on like a Monday.
At 10.
Yeah, because these doctors are, off on Friday, and they start getting sick on Friday, and I said, no.
They always, that's the classic move. Whatever day you're going to be closed, 30 minutes before you close, some horrific, something comes in the door, and you're just like, it's Murphy's Law. It's just going to happen.
There's a lot of variables in optometry, but you made the decision, that little 5% change of changing your hours, I mean, that changed the game.
Changed the game, but, one of my biggest 5% that if it's not right, it just, the whole engine, the whole train stops and just jumps the tracks and, dogs and cats living together, acid rain.
Let me get the audience ready to hear it.
Okay, please.
Let me get the audience ready. We'll get to an emotional state.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, I'm getting ready. Okay, we're ready now, Z.
We're ready. Feel the 5%.
We're ready for the 5%. Give us the 5%, Z. Shunda.
We can answer the phone great. We can greet people great. We can actually answer the phone not so great and greet them not so great. I get reviews on that sometimes. Have your people smile more, but that's not a deal breaker.
Right.
I can have them walk them back and not tell them there's going to be a puff of air, and all of a sudden there's a puff of air and they're upset, but yet it's not a deal breaker. I can go back to the room and get pre-tested and get locked and loaded in the room, cleaned and ready to go. And then the doctor comes in and messes up the prescription.
Oh, you can't mess up the
Then the
prescription.
glasses are made wrong. They got to come back. Dogs and cats living together. I mean, it's so that in my business, you have to make sure that prescription is done accurately, because then all the other things, kind of go off of that. Your contact lens prescriptions and fitting, your glasses, whether they're bifocals or, and everything. So when that gets wrong, to go back and fix that is just, such a pain in the whole system. So for me, my 5%, that if it's not really rocking, the other stuff, the other 95% in any business is important, but that's the core essence. People want to come in, and I know this sounds crazy, Clay.
Yep.
And Matt, this sounds crazy, but people want to come in to an optometrist and be able to see clearly when they leave. I know that's...
Wait a minute. Dr. Timothy Johnson, the ophthalmologist.
It's crazy.
He's on the other line, and he wanted to chime in.
What's his response to that?
Well, he wanted to chime in. He says, are you serious? Are you trying to say that the core function of an optometrist and ophthalmologist is to help people see clearly when they leave? To that, he said... No, that's not Tim Johnson. On the other line, let's switch lines. Here's Tim Johnson. There he is. There he is. That's what he has to say about that. I mean, he's
That's funny. But that's one of the things you have to always remember, that I think that's very important. What is the core function? Then all the other stuff, you still want to happen great. And like an OXI Fresh, that's the first step into your business. I mean, people are going to call to get someone to come out and give them a quote. They're going to have that phone answer. That's a core issue for them. For us, one of our core issues is making sure that prescription is done correctly, because when it's done correctly, everything else just goes so much smoother. Well, it's supposed to go so much smoother.
So Z's saying right now, if you're out there listening right now and you're an optometrist, okay, and you're going, I got great signage, great location, I'm topping Google.
No-brainer.
All that
down the door.
But if people leave and they can't see, that's not a move. It's not.
It's a move. It's just not a sustainable move.
But when people leave and they can see clearly, Z, I've got an audio soundbite where you were. This is what happened inside your lobby.
Yeah.
When a patient left, being able to see clearly. This is the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
In the lobby. I have microphones everywhere.
I know
you shotgun mics, really nice ones from Shure.
Oh, nice.
Put those in there. Yeah. Really incredible. This is the ambiance that was created. Personally, they get the glasses, they get the prescription. They picked out the perfect frame.
Oh, perfect frame.
They got one pair for $99. They said, no, I want to go back. I want a double. I want a double. Can I get a double?
Can I get more?
They get more. And this is what they said.
Glory!
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Woo. And then Z's employees start chiming in. Whoa.
I got a feeling.
I mean, it's incredible. It's just incredible how the energy of the room changed when they could see clearly.
But no matter how well you do the 95%, if in that one industry that I'm involved in, if that is done incorrectly, the other 95%, it's out the window.
Now, Matt, tell us about the 5%, something that would just irritate Tilman Fertitta, where he would say, listen here, buddy, I own the freaking Rockets. This is not going to go down in my business. Give us a 5% in an OXI Fresh where a franchisee can really make or break the deal. If they do this right, they make it the money. If they don't do this right, things go bad.
Yeah, a good thing would be in terms of like a very simple one for us. Everything all the way through the call center and taking the call and a big kind of secondary step that you can take as an owner is calling quotes back, right? Because sometimes with a quoting system, right, you've gotten all the way through the process where you got the customer to call you, you went through the system, and that customer may need something a little special. Maybe your schedule's booked out a little bit too much, right? Just taking the extra step as an owner and calling that person, right? This is a small percentage, but think about if you can book 5 more jobs a month just by having a conversation and doing things for that customer that maybe the scheduling center can't, right? Because you might be booked out a full week, right? Which is a great thing in terms of your schedule, but also you're losing a lot of opportunity there, right? So being able to actually go above and beyond that extra step for that customer with just calling quotes back, right?
Yeah.
Giving them something that maybe, you as the owner can step out there. That might change your business through a year by like $25,000, $30,000.
Now, before
right? Just doing that. But if you never call them back, nothing will ever happen with us.
Now, before we
It's a very small percentage that can have a huge impact.
Before we can move on and kind of wrap up today's show about focusing on that 5%, I want to just read this notable quotable from Tilman Fertitta here. He says, "A culture of always being on the lookout, for the 5%, is something that I've built at each and every one of my businesses. I urge you to do the same. You should aim for a culture that puts that 5% at the forefront of your thoughts, your decisions, and actions. Don't be shy or bashful about letting others know just how critical that is. You got to create that culture." Z, I want to get your take on how you do that at your companies, and I want to get Matt's take on how they do that at OXI Fresh. And then we're going to let Matt get back to what he's doing because he's having a blasty blast up there. I got audio. This is Matt Kline earlier today. I mean, they're having a great time up there.
First of all, Matt, have you guys hit over 400 yet? 400 locations? Can we celebrate 400 yet?
We're almost there.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on.
You're killing me,
Certainly
Smalls.
we'll celebrate when we hit that.
Oh, glory.
I can't wait for it.
Oh.
Wait for it. I want to hit 400. Come on. I gotta feel it.
Hit 400
All
really
right.
soon.
Come on. Matt, we gotta feel it. We know you're gonna do it. I also gotta feel I need some more cowbell in the
Come
track.
on, cowbell. Here we go. There we go.
Be all right.
Everything's
Be
better with
all
that. Oh, yeah.
Be all right.
Come on now.
Oh, Matt Kline. How many do you have right now, Matt? How many do you have right now?
We need about almost about 10, 15 more to get there. We had a pretty awesome week. We basically closed on 6 new. 2 of them I've been working with for several months. A Dallas franchisee that purchased 2 territories. We have a Washington franchisee that purchased 2.
Man.
We have a very good couple from Kansas that purchased 1. And we have a gentleman from Michigan that also is closing probably tomorrow or the next day. So busy week. Operations guys are going to have a lot of training this week, so it's great. That's a very good week for us. Had a lot of growth. A lot of good franchisees that I've been working with for the last few months here.
Matt, this I know this is a little bit of a personal question, just between us though. I mean, there's nobody else. The new franchisee owner down in Dallas, since there's some contract disputes or some contract negotiations, his name isn't Dak Prescott, is it? Because I figure he may be hedging his bet, maybe trying to kind of cover his, I don't know.
We talked for a little bit, but I think he's going to go back and maybe sling the football around.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't sure because I know he's in negotiations with Jerry.
He's still on the fence.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
You know what, Tim? You know what? Do you know what
good.
Tim Johnson, the ophthalmologist, thinks about OXI Fresh's failure to hit 400 locations? Right? I said, "Hey, would you believe that OXI Fresh has failed to hit 400 locations?" And he says, I can believe it. In fact,
I just laugh every time I hear that. It's good
so
stuff.
good. I love him.
There's some laughs that make you cringe, some laughs that make you smile, and some laughs you just gotta laugh with.
It makes me want to dive in and just listen to that all day. That laugh track. I want that in my life.
Put it on. It could be my ringtone.
God, it's so good.
I'm gonna set that as my ringtone and just have him call me all the time.
You can't fake that one. You know he's really laughing.
Oh yeah.
No, and it's almost like I want to hear this. Glory! And then as I hear this, it's like angelic kind of.
Oh yeah.
And then I want to hear on the overhead, people are clapping.
Oh yeah.
And then he steps to the mic and he goes. That's what I want. I want that to happen.
Oh, I love it when you get a new sound effect.
Z, take us home. Guide us to the mothership. How can we implement this 5% move?
Well, here's the deal about it is, as the leader, as the owner, as the boss, as the jefe, whatever you want to call yourself, you set the tone. And so everybody's looking at you in your business, corporate environment. And when you want a better environment, you bring a better environment to the table. You have to lead by example. If you're wondering why nobody's smiling, look in the mirror. You're probably not smiling.
I swear, if you guys don't smile more, I'm going to leave another horse head in the bed.
If you wonder why people aren't working harder, maybe it's because you're not showing up on time and working hard yourself. They're watching you. I tell you what, one of the things that I do constantly that always gets a comment from one of my employees is I pick up trash. I pick up trash around the building. I pick up trash. If I see trash, I pick it up. I don't go and find someone. Excuse me, but who was supposed to, I'm on the intercom, who was supposed to pick up trash? Who's on trash duty today,
let's
please?
Be honest. I think the fact that you run around carrying a lead pipe, too, and I think the fact that this music is always playing overhead and you're, I think we should take out the trash. What do you think?
I'm not going to point fingers, but my fingers have full of trash.
Matt Kline, do you have the concrete? Do you got the duct tape and my lead pipe? Anyway, we were talking about trash.
Well, I'm just telling you, if you want a better culture, you've got to bring it. If you show up in a bad mood, it's surprising how many of your employees are just all of a sudden in a bad mood. If you show up in a great mood and you're happy, you're smiling, you're calling people by their name, and you're encouraging, you're edifying, you're lifting them up. And then what happens is whenever you have that 5% that you need to kind of emphasize on, one, you better know what it is.
Right.
And then two, you better be checking it. I know what you expect, but you better inspect what you expect. And so what I do every now and then, I go through and I see how many of my doctors, for example, how many of my doctors have to do a redo on their prescription. And I track that, and then that's, when all of a sudden now it's time for raises, for bonuses, for, extra little gumballs. We call them gumballs. Then that's when things I look at.
Akon had a song called "Smack That."
Smack That. Oh, there you go.
And then Z, your new hit singles, "Track That." With
Track That. There you go.
Dr. Z and Matt
Come on
Kline.
now, Track That. Yeah.
We got to do that.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
That's a
good
duo
stuff.
right
That's
there.
a duo.
That's a primetime duo.
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
Kline, if I want to buy an OXI Fresh out there, what's the next step as we wrap up today's show? What's the next step? What do I need to do?
Yep, go to thrivetimeshow.com/OXI Fresh. Fill out the form. Myself or one of my team members, Mike, will reach out and we'll just start the conversation. A lot of it is just discovery. I want to learn about you and what's got you interested, what you're currently doing, what some of your goals are. We'll talk about the franchise, how that may fit together. Through that process, we will get down to the bottom of whether franchising in general is a good option for you, and how you want to run that, the variety of ways you can run this franchise. It may just start you on a path to looking into franchising in general. If it seems to be a good fit with OXI Fresh, the last part of that stage, we'll bring you out to Denver, go through the process of discovery. And if everything lines out correctly, you'll be running this franchise pretty soon.
And when Dr.
First
Z,
step is to really kind of just reach out.
When Dr. Z first heard that the price of an OXI Fresh was only $59,000, I happened to have been there.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm sure you recorded it.
I'm like, go Gadget Mike. I hit the red button. That's the button that turns it on.
Oh, is it?
I hit the button, and this is what Dr. Z said. Z says, Matt, how much is an OXI Fresh? And you're like, well, Z, it's only $59,000. And Z says,
but in fairness, when we look at success rates of businesses, a startup that comes from a franchise world where all the heavy lifting's done, all the inner workings done.
9 out of 10 startups fail and 1 out of 10 franchises fail. It's like the inverse of the normal.
It's kind of a no-brainer, and we know that there's so many people out there looking to better their life by being their own boss.
Right.
They're tired of punching the clock, working for the man, and all that kind of stuff. And so, our heart is entrepreneurship.
True.
And we're telling you right now, if you don't have a rock-solid idea, if you don't have a great business plan, if you're not just ready to go with the business, you ought to look into franchising. And OXI Fresh is an absolute home run.
It is a winner chicken dinner, and every day of your life when you are the owner of an OXI Fresh, you may or may not be thinking this. At all time, you're driving your car home after a great day of managing your team of carpet techs, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I gotta stop that. But I want to hit it one. I just want to hit
on the way out. You can hit on the way out.
Can I just hit it one more time?
Yes, one more.
Okay, here we go. I'll do it. It's like a 3, 2, 1, and then we hit it.
And we'll hit it.
Here we go.
That's fair.
3, 2, 1, boom! All right, so take care, Matt.
All right, guys. Thanks.
See you, dude. Bye.
Oh, Billy.